182 countries.
The struggle for healthcare workers growing as hospitals are pushed to the brink,
topping 2,200.
More cases should be expected.
This morning, the mounting death toll in New York State alone.
There's nothing doctors can do.
There's patients everywhere. Worst case scenario.
Stay home. Make sure you socially distance yourself from others.
Amy Scherzel.
March 11th, me and 3 of my friends had a plan to go to Portugal.
I never thought I was going to get coronavirus.
Started as a normal cold, but soon escalated.
I didn't eat for 9 days.
She had to fight through the virus alone, lasting almost 2 weeks.
I honestly didn't think I was gonna die.
22-year-old Amy Scherzel says she no longer thinks she's invincible.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Cora. So today's video is going to be a little different than my average weekly video, and that is because this video is going to be a little more on the serious side than my usual videos. Whoa, hold up. My sister has been getting so many hate comments after putting out her corona story on the internet. People have been saying that she's faking it, she just wants this for the clout, she's fat and that's why she got the coronavirus, she's ugly, she's a liar, and that they wish she would have died from the coronavirus. People have the right to comment what they feel on the internet. I was really close to not posting this video because of all the hate she was getting, but then I realized that my intentions for this video are to spread awareness about the coronavirus. So many people have been reaching out to my sister saying that this story really helped them realize how serious this is, and that is my intentions with this video. People might not realize how much their hate comments really do affect people. Mental health is a real thing that people struggle with. I hope you guys can understand my intentions behind this video, and I hope you do watch this video because I think it's really important. That's all I have to say. Now back to the video. I try to keep most of my videos pretty lighthearted and fun, but today's video is going to be a story time, and it's going to be a little more serious because it is about the coronavirus, the COVID-19. My sister, Amy, she actually tested positive for the coronavirus, so I wanted to make this video as a story time to kind of tell you guys my experience with it and also her experience with it. Not only that, but I wanted to share my sister's experience to inform you guys on how serious this really is, and hopefully make you realize that social distancing is so important right now, and if you want to keep yourself, your family, your loved ones, your friends safe, that is the best method we have right now. Now, before I start my story, if you don't know me personally, if you don't know my family or my sister personally, you might not know that my sister actually tweeted about her experience on Twitter and just told her story about how serious the virus really did affect her, even though she is only 22, which is a young age. And the tweet actually went kind of like viral, you could say. Ever since her tweet went viral, her along with my family have been getting a ton of news reporters asking if we could be interviewed. To talk about the virus, how it affected our family, mostly her, about how it affected her at such a young age and how she thought she was literally going to die from the coronavirus even though she is so young. So you might have heard of her experience from Twitter or from the news. If you already know that story, it's not just going to be about that, but I think this video is important to watch no matter if you have heard her story or not. Okay, so let's start all the way back from the beginning. When this virus started, it hadn't really hit the US yet. When it did, it was kind of on a small scale. When it did come in the US and it was starting to get a lot more serious and schools started closing down, me and a few of my friends from college were actually excited because we just wanted our spring break to be extended. We weren't really thinking about how serious the issue was. The prices of flying went so far down that I found the cheapest tickets to Florida, and I was literally like one of those TikToks or one of those memes where it's like college students banking off these low flight prices because of the coronavirus. So I was not taking it very seriously at this point. My sister was supposed to be going to Europe, so my parents said it was fine if I go to Florida because we didn't really know how serious this was. So I actually did book the flights for me and 4 of my other friends to go to Tampa, Florida on a week vacation for spring break. This was so spontaneous. I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna vlog the experience. It's gonna be so fun. And I wasn't thinking about any of the consequences. I wasn't thinking about getting the coronavirus, and even if I did, I was like, oh, I'm so young, it's not gonna affect me, blah blah blah. Like, I literally did not care if I got it or not because I just wanted to go on this cheap vacation. I think the tickets we ended up buying were about $115 round trip from Chicago to Tampa. Usually the ticket prices at this time would be like at least $400, I'm pretty sure. Right after I bought the tickets, my sister was actually leaving on her way to go to Europe. She was going to Portugal, so she was super excited for her trip. I was super excited for my trip. So after I booked my trip, my sister is on her flight to Europe, and an hour into her flight, the flight attendants made an announcement that the United States was canceling all international flights to Europe. Her and her friends go to a travel agent and book a flight home, which is horrible. Obviously, your whole trip is ruined. You're gonna lose a ton of money. So she was devastated, but still, we weren't really thinking about the virus at all. We were just kind of thinking about, oh no, this sucks. And at this point, I was a little worried about her getting back, but I still wasn't worried about the virus. And I was still planning on going on my trip to Tampa. So her and her friends had to talk to the travel agents and book some flights back. But in total, they were traveling for 80 hours with the flights, the layovers, and all of that until she finally got home to her apartment in Madison. A few days after she got back from traveling, she hadn't even gone to Portugal, but she was just traveling for 80 hours, like I said. She started to feel sick. It did end up getting pretty bad, and she did end up having a fever, so she went in to go get tested.
Right now, I'm headed to University Health Services for my coronavirus test. All my symptoms align with that of coronavirus, and because I've been to Europe in the last couple of days to countries that are apparently level 3 high risk for coronavirus. So I'll keep you guys updated.
And we were kind of worried, but at this point I still wasn't that worried, and I was still planning on going to Florida because I'm an idiot. So she got tested, and she actually didn't get her results back for over 48 hours. But when she finally did get her test back a little over 2 days later, she actually found out that she did test positive for COVID-19. So she did have the virus. So when I woke up that morning that she had texted my family that she tested positive, I was actually at my boyfriend's house because I had slept at his house that night. And I woke up to all these texts from my parents saying, "You're not going to Florida. You're canceling your trip today. I'm sorry, but it's too dangerous now. Your sister has the virus. You need to come home immediately, and you're not leaving the house anytime soon." So I was obviously really concerned because my sister had the coronavirus. Within the next few days, I ended up canceling my flights, the Airbnb. Luckily, Airbnb did make an announcement that they were refunding anyone who booked between like a certain date, and we had booked between that date. So we got all our money back for the Airbnb, but I was on hold the airline for so long to try to refund my flight, and we couldn't get our money back, but we did get a flight voucher. During all of this, my sister was still alone in her apartment at Madison because all of her roommates and her friends that she was traveling with, they all went home to their houses back in their hometowns, but she was still in Madison because my parents didn't want her to come home just in case she did end up getting the virus. But after she did get her test results back saying that she tested positive, she slowly started to feel worse and worse every day. She was running a fever every single day. Another thing with my sister is that she was throwing up. That was one of her symptoms when she went in to go get tested, which is not one of the symptoms of the COVID-19 virus that the CDC puts out there. She couldn't keep down any food because she would throw it all up. She was very weak. She was short of breath, things like that. But she was worsening and worsening every single day, and it had gone over a week that she had been by herself in her apartment sick. My parents started getting really concerned, and my sister was texting us updates every single day, and it got to a point where she needed to call the ambulance because she was having shortness of breath, she was throwing up, she had a fever, and she just really couldn't take care of herself. So she went into the hospital, and they gave her some fluids and drew her blood to make sure she was okay, tested her breathing, but everything was okay. It was just that she was so sick. But since there was no cure for the virus, they couldn't really do much, and unless you're in dire need, if you are literally on your deathbed, they cannot keep you at the hospital because there are so many patients with COVID. After that, we were hoping that it could only go uphill from there, but her calling 911 actually happened 2 more times within the time period that she was alone in Madison, which was 12 days. So she was alone in her apartment for 12 days with COVID, and she had to call 911 3 times because she literally thought she was gonna die. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't even go to her kitchen to fill up her water or go walk herself to the bathroom. She said that she was crawling to the bathroom, crawling to the sink to go get some water, and it was just terrible. Every time she did go to the hospital, they just sent her home because, like I said before, they don't have room for everyone to just stay there. On day 11 that she was alone in her apartment, it got to the point where she was calling us crying, saying, "I can't do this anymore. I need to come home. I can't be alone." She was begging for us to come get her, and my parents were freaking out because they didn't know what to do. They're in their 50s and they didn't want to catch the virus as well and maybe die. Also, my mom has a heart condition that makes her more susceptible to getting COVID-19. So the virus affects your lungs and it affects your heart, and she had just had heart surgery surgery a week before. So when my parents were on the phone with the doctors, my mom's cardiologist was telling her to absolutely not come in contact with my sister. My parents decided that my dad was going to get some protective equipment from his friend who is a doctor, and he was going to pick my sister up, but that meant that me along with my mom had to leave the house. My dad really didn't want us all to be exposed to the virus. If one person was going to go pick her up, it was going to be him. And because I'm youngest, I did offer multiple times to go pick her up because I felt so bad, and since I'm younger, it wouldn't be as high of a chance of me dying if I did get the virus. But my dad was not about to let his kid go expose themselves to the virus and possibly get it again, because if I was to get it, it'd just be that process all over again. Parents would have to come take care of me then. My dad did end up going to pick her up. He got a gown, goggles, masks, and gloves. So when he picked her up, he did have all the protective equipment on that he needed, but of course you can still get it even if you do have equipment on, so we are still super nervous for him. So when he went to go get my sister, it was like 10 at night, and me and my mom had to figure out some place to stay. She ended up staying in a hotel one night, and then she is now staying with my neighbor. And then right now I'm staying with my boyfriend RJ and his family, who were really kind to take me in because I really didn't know where else to stay. So as of right now, I'm still staying with RJ and his family, and then my mom is still at my neighbor's, and we're doing okay. I'm just glad we were both able to find a place to stay and not have to expose ourselves to the virus. So let's get back to the story. My dad went to go pick up my sister and bring her back home, which was about a 2-hour drive from Madison to Kenosha, where we live. And when he brought her home, he immediately let her go down in the basement. No one lives in our basement. My brother's bedroom is down there, but he doesn't live with us anymore. She had her own bathroom, her own shower, so my dad didn't have to use the same bathroom as her and be exposed to all her germs. So every time he would go check up on her, he would wear his protective equipment. But like I said, he did have minimal contact with her since she was in the basement. So after literally only 2 days of being home, my sister was feeling so much better. I think it was also a mindset thing. Being alone in your apartment for 11 days, being sick, that's just like awful. I don't even like being alone when I just have a cold. She recovered quite quickly when she was home. Like I said, like 2 days, she was feeling so much better. She was able to eat and not be throwing it up. So we are really happy with the decision that we decided to bring her home, because she recovered so quickly when she was home, and we don't know if she would have recovered that quickly by herself. Now, after about 4 days of being home, she has fully recovered, and she has called the doctor and they cleared her. So if you do have COVID-19 after 72 hours of showing no symptoms, your doctors and the CDC will clear you and say you're okay, you're good to go. So she passed that time period. She is cleared by the CDC. Thank God. We are so happy that she's okay. So my sister is back in Madison, and my dad is not showing any symptoms of having coronavirus, but me and my mom are still staying away from home right now so he can quarantine by himself, just to make sure he does not show any symptoms of having COVID-19. Once I do get home, my parents are like, you are not leaving, you're not hanging out with your boyfriend, you're not hanging out with your friends. And I know it sucks, like it literally sucks. Before my sister got bad and my parents were making me stay inside and I wasn't able to see my friends or my boyfriend or anybody, I was literally so upset. And I know there are so many people out there with mental health issues that this is taking a toll on your mental health, having to social distance and stay home. But if we do all make an effort and stay home and do not come in contact with others, this will be over sooner rather than later. The point of all of this was to share with you my sister's story, to not only show you how terrible this virus can be, but to show you that a lot of young people right now are going on vacation, going to hang out with their friends, things like this, and that is not what we should be doing at this time. I know everyone keeps saying social distance, 6 feet apart, but it is so important that we are social distancing at this time. And this is just one story. Of course, you can have a more mild form. You can have an even worse form of sickness that my sister had. Just make sure you are staying inside, you are not coming in contact with anybody, because this will slow the spread of this virus, and hopefully we can stop it very soon. I know a ton of young people keep saying,
oh, this virus is gonna ruin our summer, oh my gosh.
But they're the ones that are going on vacation, going to hang out with their friends, things like this. So don't be a hypocrite. Don't go out, hang out with your friends, because that's just going to spread the virus even more, whether you know it or not, and whether you are showing symptoms or not. I wanted to share my perspective on it because I think it's important to see how naive I was in the beginning. I was literally like, oh my gosh, spring break is extended. I can go on vacation. I can get some sun. I can go hang out with my friends. Cheap plane tickets. Woo! But it's not like that. Please stay home. If the roles were reversed and this only affected young people, you know that our parents and our grandparents would be staying home for us. Just make sure you are being safe, and yeah, things like that. So now that my sister is on her road to recovery, like I said before, she tweeted about her experience, so go follow her, go like her tweet about her experience. And also she's on a ton of newspaper articles, and she was also on the TV a few times for the news. So that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did stay to this point, thank you so much, and I hope that you are staying safe, staying healthy. Other than that, I upload a new video every Thursday at 2 p.m. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you did like it. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!